Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Big announcement! I love those beeps.
I know.
We are doing another virtual live show to ring in the spooky season. We'll be going live to your living rooms, your bathrooms, your bedrooms, wherever you want to watch.
All your rooms.
On Friday. All your rooms. On Friday, October 1st at 7 p.m. Central.
Yeah, I'm so pumped for this. So VIP ticket holders get a signed Wine Coven poster. I love that poster.
Yeah, that's
Dude, it's so spooky.
That's the other poster. It's a spookier poster than the cartoon poster.
It's not the same one you may have gotten last time. And you also get access to the exclusive after show Q&A. Yeah, you heard that right. So grab all your spooky little bitches and get your tickets right now at wineandcrimepodcast.com.
And while you're watching, share your photos with hashtag Wine and Crime Live so we can see all your beautiful faces chugging wine, chatting true crime, and unleashing your worst Minnesotan accents from the comfort of your own homes.
Oh, the comfort.
Oh, we like to be comfy. So we'll see you on October 1st. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Yeah.
Darn totin'.
And forget to light their candles.
Oh, no.
Oh my
We
God.
can't
Stop the show.
Stop the recording.
Stop.
Lucy
the
hasn't lit her
show.
candle, and she also hasn't screamed at her cat yet.
I did see Ray's butt, though.
He's right here. I almost screamed at him, but it's fine.
It'll happen later.
He took a nap with his pink pen today. It was really cute.
His favorite toy, a pink pen.
Loves his
I'll
pink
send you a
pen.
picture. He really does. It's a weird fetish.
He's got a pink pen fetish.
All right. Well, I'm Kenyon.
I'm Lucy, whatever.
Oh, wait. I'm Amanda. Yeah. No, it's cool.
All right. Well, speaking of assholes.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy about this episode. It's fucking amazing.
It's a good one.
We have a very special fan pick brought to us by our fan picker, Dawn Michelle L. of Historically Accurate Pod.
Michelle
Yeah.
L. Bean.
Michelle
Michelle
L.
L. Cool J.
Dawn Michelle, hyphenated, has selected the topic of assholes of history.
Which
Assholes in history.
the...
Hard to narrow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
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 Yeah, took me a while to narrow down mine, and in the end, I feel like I should have gone in a different direction, but that's okay.
I am so fucking hashtag blessed this week because I get to do the fan pick case, and it is bonk.
Really?
It's a good
Oh,
one.
good. All right, so we'll get our laughs in the second half of the episode.
I mean, it's dork,
Okay.
but it's bonkers.
Okay, good.
I'm
good.
so excited.
All right. Well, hang in there, everybody, till the end of the episode for
It's
the good part.
Gonna
And
be
the beginning.
a wild ride.
And the beginning.
Just
Mine is
skip to
good.
the end.
Not the shitty middle, which is my part. All right. Well, what is our wine crime pairing for assholes in history?
The shitty middle.
You're like
I
it's like a gusher of shit.
Gusher. I'm putting that on your tombstone.
I
Here
found
lies Ken Yorlair, the shitty middle.
the shitty middle. I thought it was interesting, but then as soon as I finished my notes, I was like, I just think this is interesting because I'm a history dork and nobody else is going to find this interesting.
I'll think it's
Anytime
interesting
you
then.
pick your cases because you think it's interesting, we're in for it. in some way or another. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to hear something from you today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll just zone out. It'll be great.
In the meantime, what is our wine crime pairing for assholes in history?
So speaking of assholes, not our fan picker. Our fan picker is amazing. And
Yes.
she was so generous as to send wine to my house. And some asshole stole it off of my porch because it's gone.
Yeah, you never received it.
I
and
never
we
received
just
it.
realized in the hour before we were supposed to record.
Yeah, I dug my house apart. It went through all of my wines and then it went and looked up the wine to see if I had even recognized the label for it, to see if I had seen it and maybe accidentally drank it, which has happened before. And no such luck. I did not recognize it. I think it got swiped from my porch, which really, really sucks.
So in this case, you aren't the asshole.
I'm not the asshole. DM is not the asshole. The asshole is someone who sniped my wine. So I popped 2 gummies for today
Nice.
to appease the gods. And I want to give a shout out to the winery that Dawn Michelle sent wine from. So it's like a personal fave. I think she is living in Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken, because this is a winery that's located out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is
Very nice.
near and dear to my heart because Unsinkable Helen loved a day trip to Harrisburg. A lot of great antiques.
Olive Gardens.
Shopping.
I'm sure there must be an Olive Garden in Harrisburg.
There must
Otherwise,
be.
why would my grandmother want to go there? But the winery itself is stunning, picturesque Pennsylvania countryside winery. I can't. And her go-to is the Renové Red,
Ooh.
which comes in a couple of different versions. I want to try the sparkling because it kind of seems like it might be a little bit like a Lambrusco, which I love. This is depending on which one you get, the still red and the sparkling red are 12% alcohol by volume. They are made up of a blend of Concord and Niagara grapes, which I guess grow really well in that region.
A little upstate East Coast.
Yeah, it's all
Jam.
local. It's locally farmed.
Terroir.
Terroir, locally farmed grapes, which is super exciting. The label's really fun on the sparkling one. It's 2 cute little champagne flutes that are cheersing. They're just kissing.
Cute.
They're toasting.
Aw.
And it pairs well, it says, with any brunch affair.
Oh.
Which I love a wine that pairs with a brunch. And this is a fan favorite of guests that go to Springgate Winery in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's all made from American, native to America grapes. Super fun and exciting. I don't know if they ship bottles, but I will be back in Pennsylvania and I'm going to go check it out. So I wanted to thank you. An attempt was made. Thank you for sending me wine. I'm so sorry it didn't make it to me. And if you're listening, asshole who stole my wine, I hope it was worth it.
Sounds like it was.
I mean, for
Sounds
them,
like it would be.
For them, it was fucking worth it. They clearly got away with it. So
that
thank
sucks.
you and cheers. And
Cheers.
I'm only gonna go downhill from here because that gummy's gonna kick in, baby.
I'm drinking a random red that was open in my house. So
I'm drinking the rest of my Soul Gold Blaster.
Oh, that shit's so good.
My
Soul
Müller
Gold.
Korgo.
all right. Well, Lucy, what is our background and maybe psych
I hope.
for assholes in history?
There's a little psych this time.
Okay. And no bones to shake today.
Nope. I do have my bones just sitting out next to me, though.
love
it's,
their jar.
It's for support. They're your
It's in a
emotional
cactus
support
jar.
bones. That jar is so fucking cute.
It has a hole for a straw. It's supposed to be like a drinking jar.
Don't
I mean,
mistake
don't.
that.
Yeah.
Just gotta put
Take
my
a
bones in
sip.
there. Ugh.
It's
a
so
lot of
dry.
dust. I've shaken it a lot, so I think there'll be a lot of dust.
I
Powder.
love it. Name your bones Dustin.
Dustin.
Dusty for sure. Do you think Dustin, and I could Google this, I just won't because I'd rather just speculate, derives from the Puritan dust?
I don't think so, but I would love that.
Let's go with it.
It does.
It's from the late Gallic dust bin. The B is silent.
Well,
Okay, so today we're talking about assholes.
yes.
And
oh my God.
Merriam-Webster, and you were talking about assholes, you guys. defines asshole firstly as a vulgar term for anus, or a stupid, annoying, or detestable person, or the least attractive or desirable part of an area, as in New Jersey is the asshole of the U.S.
Oh, I feel like that.
In Merriam-Webster?
I
No,
think she might be editorializing just
I
a
put
bit.
New Jersey in,
I
but
got
it said
really
like
excited.
that's the asshole of the country, or the
I
asshole of the
also
world.
strongly disagree as a Jersey girl, and I would argue Florida might be a contender.
There
Well-
are parts of each state that are big
Always.
assholes.
Everywhere.
New Jersey Turnpike is the asshole of the
It's
US.
not great. It's not great.
No. As someone who's taken a dump on it, Amanda, you
I have.
can attest.
Well, adjacent to it in a ditch.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's get
Safety
get it right.
first.
Yeah, safety first. Get off the road.
So this next quote that I have is from an essay that was really long
Oh, good.
about the usage of the
Assholes?
word asshole.
Love it.
Like from a linguistic, philosophical.
Did you ever watch
standpoint.
that show on, I think it was on Netflix, that was like about swearing, and like Nick Cage was one of the talking heads on it?
No.
It's
I
fun.
heard of it. I don't think I ever watched it though. So this is from philosopher and writer of Assholes, a Theory.
Oh.
Author Aaron James defines asshole as this. Quote, the asshole is the guy who systematically allows himself special advantages in cooperative life out of an entrenched sense of entitlement that immunizes him against the complaints of other people.
Like Plop in White Lotus.
Every time you say plop, I think of The Office.
Right.
Yeah, it's the guy, it's Plop, the
Oh,
actor.
he's
is
in the
White
show
Lotus.
White Lotus. I haven't
Yeah.
watched White Lotus.
And
so.
he's an asshole. Oh my
He's
God,
an
it's
asshole.
so good.
Yeah.
He was
so
also
good.
on a
I'm not
season of
done with it
Girls.
yet, though.
Oh, you
Okay.
gotta get there. It's fucking good. And I love their theme song.
What's
I
that
know.
streaming
So
on? Do I
bizarre.
need to binge this?
HBO,
Yeah, you do.
honey.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
HBO, and I think it might also be on like Peacock.
I mean, I have both
Yeah.
because I have a TV addiction.
Yeah, it's all right. Robert Sutton, a psychology professor at Stanford and author of The Asshole Survival Guide, says that,
They
quote,
need one of those?
yeah, don't we all?
I mean, I guess.
An asshole is someone who leaves us feeling demeaned, de-energized, disrespected, and or oppressed. I would make a distinction between temporary and certified assholes because all of us under the wrong conditions can be temporary assholes.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
every month for 3 to 5 days.
I'm talking about somebody who is consistently this way, who consistently treats other people this way. I think it's more complicated than simply saying an asshole is someone who doesn't care about other people.
Right.
In fact, some of them really do care. They care. They want to make you feel hurt and upset. They take pleasure in it. So his main tips for surviving assholes is really just to ignore them because it takes the wind out of their sails.
Ah, yep.
He also says, quote, you have to know yourself, be honest about yourself, and rely on people around you to tell you when you're being an asshole. And when they are kind enough to tell you, listen.
That's hard.
I know.
That is a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, and when you have a podcast and a lot of people tell you you're an asshole, it gets
Yeah.
easier to drown out.
Yeah, I get numb to it.
You do get numb to it. At first,
try.
it's really tough to just
Oh,
be
yeah.
told you're an asshole all the time.
I hear they play this on a loop in Guantanamo Bay.
I
Now it's
distinctly,
really? Add it to our
now
press
it
mentions.
fuels my
God.
very soul. The Guantanamo Bay? God.
Oh my god.
God, we've gone platinum.
God.
Platinum in Guantanamo.
Triple platinum.
In
I don't want to
GB.
brag or anything.
Great Britain? No.
We're top
No.
of the GB charts.
Jesus.
No.
I remember reading our very first 1-star review.
Yes.
Or maybe it was an email or something, but it stung so, it cut so deep.
I know. I like remember the early ones, and now I cannot remember the last time I
Oh,
read any of
I-
the 1-star reviews.
Only read the 1-star reviews. They crack me the fuck up. I love them. I live for them.
I will say, though, that in early 2015, when I was having a nervous breakdown and hadn't moved to South Africa yet and was rudderless and losing my mind, my mom bought me a psychic reading.
Oh.
And the psychic told me that I was going to start something in my career and it was going to be off the beaten path and it was going to be successful, but also divisive. And a lot of people
We're going to hate you.
were not going to like it. He literally said that. And at the time, I thought that he was talking about like working in nonprofits against like domestic violence and all this stuff. And I was like, well, you know,
Fuck
I
'em.
guess abusers won't like it, but whatever. No, he meant the show.
I love it. Well, I want that guy's number.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, right?
We need to go back.
I know. It was over the phone.
Amazing.
Awesome. Also, quick plug for my pal Charles Tiemann, psychic-light.com. He does
He's great.
phone readings too. Okay, so if you go to the drive, which will be on the blog, I have a little anecdote for you. This happened yesterday.
Yeah, I was confused when I put my pictures on the drive today, so I'm hoping this is what you're going to
I'll clear it all
explain.
up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you are aware or if listeners are aware. I hope you are. There is an Instagram account called Secret Buttholes.
Oh, it's my favorite Instagram
my
account.
God.
It's
And
it's just like-
absolutely genius.
Finding things that look like assholes just
In the
out in the
wild.
environment in the wild that aren't
Mhm.
actually buttholes.
Following it right now.
I think it's secret_buttholes,
Yeah.
but it'll pop up.
It's the best.
So yesterday I was pulling into the Hy-Vee parking lot with Corey,
Like you do.
and there was a Jeep with a tire cover on the back. And the tire cover, I think it's supposed to be like a daisy, like the shape of a daisy in the colors of the American flag.
It's always a tire cover. Why?
It's a tire
honey?
cover. Flower, American flag, whatever. But the color is so fucking bad with this American flag overlay that the middle of the daisy is just a black void.
It's a
Yes,
puckered
It
black
looks like
void.
an asshole. It's an
It
anus.
really
Puckered.
does.
It's actually puckered.
And when
Yeah.
we pulled into the parking lot and I saw this Jeep off to my right and I just went, butthole, 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 butthole.
Wait, you saw it in person?
Yes, I saw it yesterday in person.
I
because
can
it's
picture
on
you
the
doing that
account.
so
I
clearly.
know. So Corey took a picture of it and then was trying to DM it to Secret Buttholes, and they had like just published the same photo like recently. So it's like a widespread
Oh yeah, a
Jeep
widespread
tire
asshole.
cover. It's a widespread asshole.
Wow. Yeah.
She's fully available.
Spread out.
Ish.
So that photo is what Corey took on his phone yesterday. It's
Got to.
magnificent. Okay. My lover Britannica describes the anal canal thusly, because I wanted to talk about actual assholes too.
You have to.
Have
it's
to.
pertinent to the topic.
It's the terminal portion of the digestive tract, distinguished from the rectum because of the transition of its internal surface from a mucous membrane layer called the endodermal to one of skin-like tissue, the ectodermal.
Unless
So,
you
like-
have bad hemorrhoids.
We'll get to the hemorrhoids.
Okay.
Don't you worry, honey.
Oh, good. I was so worried.
So the anal canal itself is really short. It's like between 1 and 1.5 inches long. Just a little.
Just a little
It's just
guy.
a little. It's just
Little
a little.
buddy.
Probably if you stuck your finger up your butt, that's what it would. Just a little bit. Its diameter is narrower than that of the rectum to which it connects. So something that I didn't include in here, but I thought was interesting: when you're pooping, your butthole closes so that your rectum can open. And then it squeezes the poop into your anal canal, and then the rectum closes and your butthole opens, and then
Pinch
it
her
goes
off.
out.
Oh.
That's how the sphincters work in tandem to keep the poop inside your body, unless
That's
it's like
fucking
coming out.
teamwork.
Oh, interesting. So that you're not just like constantly
dropping
Just
turds.
falling out of your
Falling out
asshole.
of your ass.
Right.
It's
So
like
is that why like some animals are just like constantly pooping because they don't have that dual sphincter action? Or do they
probably-
just like poop a lot?
I think some animals just poop a lot.
I think they poop a lot. It probably depends on shape, which also depends on diet. And also, like, cows have, like, 1,000 stomachs. So I'm sure that kind of
Do
does
ducks
something.
have two sphincters?
Why is it
Continue.
always
They're going to have
ducks?
more than two. Anal, digestive sphincters.
I'm right. No, ducks do not have the physical anatomy required, a sphincter muscle, so they can't hold it until they reach a litter box or designated area.
Oh, so having a duck as a
Okay.
pet, you're taking a big risk.
Oh yeah, they just poop everywhere. That is like the thing that I remember most from
I wonder if
having
geese
those
are like
ducklings
that.
in first grade.
I think geese are probably like that. And also that rooster that I saw in Key West that just shot white
That
shit
was
out of its asshole.
amazing. That was the
I
most,
was eating lunch. It
That
just
was-
shit right next to
Rude.
me.
It
I mean,
was
I loved it, but
stunning.
it was
You got it
amazing.
on video.
I cannot believe, and that was the whole length of the video. I didn't even trim it. I started recording, and it just shot out of its ass, and then I stopped recording.
Unedited, untouched.
It's untouched. It's pristine. It's a pure virgin Instagram clip.
Oh my God.
Okay, so the anal canal is divided into 3 areas. The upper part with longitudinal folds called rectal columns. Beautiful.
Grecian.
Architectural.
Sturdy.
The lower portion with internal and external constrictive muscles, aka sphincters, to control evacuation of feces and the anal opening itself. So, about the hemorrhoids, the blood vessels inside both the rectal and anal areas are susceptible to enlargement and rupturing, aka hemorrhoids or piles.
Yeah, that's what they call them in like British
Europe.
English speaking places.
I
Piles.
can't with
yeah,
piles.
and I didn't know what the fuck people were talking about in South Africa. But yeah, it's called piles.
That's the worst name for that.
For anything ever in the history of names.
Yeah, for some
So-
reason it is way grosser than hemorrhoids.
Unless you're talking about piles of laundry, I don't want that word used in any capacity.
Or piles of gold,
Right.
riches,
Piles of gold.
etc.
Welcome to our musing about the word piles podcast.
I want
Piles
piles
of
for
riches.
miles.
Piles for miles. Now available on Apple Podcasts.
We got piles of style. So all this is to say, PSA, don't push a poop out if it's not ripe or you will live to regret it. And also
All
once
right.
you get hemorrhoids, like
You're
they're
done.
they're
They're
kind of
there forever. Yeah.
It's kind of like easier to get hemorrhoids the next time.
Yeah.
The internal ones are rough.
Once they pop.
They
the
don't
fun. Once they pop, you'll never laugh again.
Oh, no. I had stress-induced hemorrhoids after our backpacking extravaganza, and I remember calling my mom, and she was like, I know it sounds gross, but sometimes you just got to take your finger and just tuck them back up there. Just tuck them up.
Oh my God.
That
If they're poking out,
Go to a doctor.
I don't
was
think
in
they do that.
France.
You can get them banded if they are distended like that.
Oh.
I mean, they weren't hanging out of my butt by like inches. It was just like a little, just tuck them back in.
If you have hemorrhoids that are tuckable, go to a doctor.
It was fine.
Period. Full stop.
That is
They're going
easier
to tell
than
you to do
said.
the same thing.
I
Yeah.
doubt it. I fucking doubt it. I'm no surgeon. But wow.
I mean, I think you're speaking from a place of pile privilege.
You are.
Maybe.
You're pile privileged.
Maybe.
It's showing.
Fine with me.
Your pile privilege is showing.
Oh my fucking God.
Oh, but Preparation H, man. Also, the wipes, the Preparation H cooling wipes, or like the pocket wipes that you can buy, never leave home without them. They're amazing. Even if you don't have like active hemorrhoids, like after a plane ride, just kind of want to like wipe your
just
butt
like
a little bit.
cooling,
Cool
freshen
down your
up.
beehole.
Yes, it's great.
You gotta wipe down the nethers after a plane ride.
Oh, it's required.
Or like a really intense poop.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes it just
everything up.
burns. Sometimes it burns. It hurts to sit down.
Sorry,
Anyway.
guys. True crime.
This true crime podcast is successful, if you wouldn't believe it.
This next part is specifically for Amanda.
Good.
So when you picture a butthole in your mind's eye,
As I often do.
What in your brown eye?
In my
what
brown
you're
eye.
probably picturing are the circular folds of mucous membrane known as anal valves. Blech.
Is that probably what I'm picturing?
Probably. Just look at my flower on the drive.
Is that the ring?
Just the butthole. It's just the
hole.
It's the butthole part.
So that little puckered part is just flaps of
Folds.
folds of lubricated
Mucous
glands.
membrane. Yep, anal valves. Between the valves are small anal sinuses that open to lymph ducts and glands.
Now-
These can sometimes become abscessed and infected, especially in persons who have chronic diarrhea, constipation, or diabetes mellitus.
So
Uh-oh. Each one of us is at risk for a
Yep.
different reason.
some of
Yeah.
us double.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So just yet another PSA. Keep an eye on your anal valves.
Keep an eye below the thigh.
above the thigh.
Oh yeah.
Depends on which way you're standing or laying.
Depends on if you're upside down or not.
This gummy is working.
And actually, back to the sphincters, you
good.
have two sphincters down there. You have your internal sphincter, which is controlled involuntarily. So that's the one that opens up from your rectum to let the poop get through the first oxygen chamber. And then your external sphincter is controlled voluntarily. So
that's when I'm clenching.
You're puckering your buttholes right now.
Oh, absolutely.
right
I
now.
am.
That's
I'm testing
voluntary.
it.
Okay, so for this next part, I'm going to need your assistance. So if you follow along with my notes.
I'm already puckering. What more
Yeah,
do you
what
fucking
more do you
want from me?
fucking want?
There's a lovely song by Dennis Leary titled Asshole, the lyrics of which I will recite for you now. No, I did not listen to the actual song. It sounds awful. So
we
basically,
definitely used to listen to this in high school.
In like Jessica's car.
I have never heard this song before.
If you had listened to
think.
it,
You would
recognize
remember it. Yeah,
It's
we
very
it was on a
famous.
mix.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't ring a bell for me. So this is basically going to be a exercise in poetry. So the song is from his 1993 album, No Cure for Cancer. And what I need from the two of you is to recite the parts that I have highlighted in purple.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just kind of like the choir in the
Yeah,
background.
we're the backup. We can do really unnecessary runs. Whoa, yeah.
When you said runs,
Christina. I know. I heard. I was thinking Hershey's words.
Moulin Rouge.
Oh, yeah.
Amanda knows every single one of those random little noises
I
in a
am
song.
neurodivergent, people. I got mad ADHD. These are my strengths.
You're really good at it.
I cannot remember literally what I had for breakfast, but I can remember the backup part from that one obscure 2001 pop song that no one has heard in 20 years.
Okay, here we go. Folks, I'd like to sing a song about the American dream, about me, about you, about the way our American hearts beat way down to the bottom of our chests, about that special feeling we get in the cockles of our hearts, maybe below the cockles, maybe in the subcockle area, maybe in the liver, maybe in the kidneys, maybe even in the colon. We don't know. I'm just a regular Joe with a regular job. I'm your average white suburbanite slob. I like football and porno and books about war. I got an average house with a nice hardwood floor under the carpet. My wife and my job, my kids and my car, my feet on a table and a Cuban cigar. But sometimes that just ain't enough to keep a man like me interested.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No way.
No way.
No, I gotta go out and have fun at someone else's expense.
Oh, yeah.
I drive really slow in the ultra-fast lane while people behind me are going insane.
Yeah, that's
I'm
my
an
nightmare.
asshole.
He's an asshole. What an asshole.
I'm an asshole.
He's
He's an asshole. What an asshole. What an asshole. Such an asshole. Such an asshole.
Okay.
Got it? It's Game of Thrones.
I know, I got it. Now I'll never be able to hear that. What an asshole. What an asshole. What...
He's an asshole. Such an asshole. What an asshole.
Okay.
Peter Dinklage.
I use public toilets and I piss on the seat. I walk around in the summertime saying, how about this heat? I'm an asshole.
He's an asshole. What an asshole.
I'm an asshole.
He's the world's biggest asshole.
Moulin Rouge.
Misdemeanor here.
I'm going to skip the next stanza because it's incredibly insensitive. So
Bye-bye.
listen to that song if you want to know what it's
it
about.
was a different time, and
Yeah.
we don't
Different
excuse
time.
it.
Well, it's not
And
like
also
Dennis
Dennis
Leary
Leary.
is the peak of comedic genius
Right.
in the first place.
Although I do love the movie The Ref.
Oh, my God.
And yes, it's a Christmas
yeah, it's
movie.
a good one. Maybe I shouldn't be singing this song, ranting and raving and carrying on. Maybe they're right when they tell me I'm wrong. Nah, I'm an asshole.
He's an asshole. What an asshole.
I'm an asshole.
He's the world's biggest asshole.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get myself a 1967 Cadillac Eldorado convertible, hot pink with whale skin hubcaps and all leather cow interior and big brown baby seal eyes for headlights.
God.
Oh.
Sir.
The
supposed to
quote
say,
we're supposed
yeah.
to say, we're supposed to say
Yeah.
yeah, but instead we said oh.
Oh.
And I'm gonna drive that baby at 115 miles an hour, getting 1 mile per gallon, sucking down quarter-pounder cheeseburgers from McDonald's
Yumma.
in the old-fashioned non-biodegradable styrofoam containers. And when I'm done sucking down those greaseball burgers, I'm gonna wipe my mouth with the American flag.
Wow.
Which
And then
is
I'm gonna-
also my tire cover.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna toss the styrofoam containers right out the side, and there ain't a goddamn thing anybody can do about it. You know why? Because we've got the bomb, that's why.
Oh, my God.
2 words, nuclear fucking weapons, okay? Russia, Germany,
That's
Romania.
3 words.
They can have all the democracy they want. They can have a big democracy cakewalk right through the middle of Tiananmen Square, and it won't make a lick of difference because we got the bombs, okay?
A lot of other people got the bombs now, Dennis.
Uh-huh.
I'm an asshole, remember?
Yeah.
John,
What? I just am getting really uncomfortable.
I hate these lyrics.
John Wayne's not dead, he's frozen. As soon as we can find a cure for cancer, we're gonna thaw out the Duke, and he's gonna be pretty pissed off. You know why?
Why?
Have you ever taken a cold shower? Well, multiply that by 15 million times. That's how pissed the Duke's gonna be.
Oh, 'cause
I'm
it's
gonna get the
cryogenically
Duke
frozen.
and John Cassavetes and Lee Martin and Sam Peckinpah and a case of whiskey and drive down to Texas and...
Hey, you know, you really are an asshole.
Why don't you just shut up and sing the song, pal? I'm an asshole.
He's an asshole.
What an asshole.
I'm an asshole.
He's an asshole. What an asshole. He's an
ASSHOLE, everybody.
A-S-S-H-O-L-E.
I'm an asshole and I'm proud of it.
Okay.
We nailed it.
Wow.
Oh,
Well,
I can't wait to read the 1-star reviews after this episode. They're gonna be good.
well,
I mean, yeah,
song
that
about
is
being an asshole.
that is what a lot of assholes are like. There are all different kinds of assholes, and that is definitely an archetype of one of them.
Uh-huh. An American white suburban male asshole who really likes westerns.
Yeah.
Yeah, who just thinks that they can do whatever the fuck they want. And that things should return to a time when they could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, good job.
Way to beef up your notes.
And we will.
I can only talk about literal buttholes for so long.
I mean, I could go on.
We're bound
We've
to have a
been
butthole
doing
crime.
it for the 30-year duration of our friendship.
You
so-
admitted that essay was long.
It was really complicated, though. Like, I read it, but I didn't absorb much of it.
Much like your asshole.
Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll hear about a historic asshole that kind of fits the bill of that
I
song.
really hope Preparation
See?
H is a sponsor for today's episode.
Oh, I
Oh,
wish.
specifically the cool wipes.
Start making cold calls.
Cool calls.
Cold wipe calls.
Hello, Preparation H. We are huge fans of your
Huge.
product.
Big fan. Huge.
The world is opening back up, people. And if you are like us and haven't worn a bra consistently over the last 16 months, and you're afraid to go back,
How
I
can
have-
we go back?
I have excellent news for you, because Third Love makes bras that are actually extraordinarily comfortable. I'm wearing one right now.
I'm wearing some of their underwears.
Ooh, nice.
From a
Third Love.
derriere.
Oh, it does. Your substantial derriere. Third Love creates high-quality underwear, sleep, and loungewear, delivering life-changing comfort that your body loves being in. With cup sizes from AA through I, including exclusive half cups.
Love that.
I'm in the half category, and let me tell you, this is absolutely incredible. And Third Love's lounge and sleepwear in sizes extra small through 3X. You can get ready to feel good.
Yes. Yeah, Third Love is amazing, and Third Love obsesses over each stitch so that you never have to think about how something feels or looks or wears, because it's just going to be perfect every time. It's always going to be comfortable. It's like wearing a cloud. While trends come and go, Third Love has always stayed true to one notion: we do comfort and you do you. That's why I am personally fully on board with the seamless collection called Form.
Yes.
Once you go wireless, people, you can't go back. These are like, it's like memory foam for your bits. They're form-fitting, like seamless, no underwires, and beautiful underwear with limitless stretch and endless comfort that disappears under your clothes. So you're not getting panty lines, which is like one of my biggest issues.
It's a second skin.
It's amazing, and I can't tell you enough how much I love it.
Their colors are super cute, too.
The bras are gorgeous.
Gorgeous. So Third Love knows that you deserve to feel comfortable and confident 24/7. So right now, they are offering our listeners 20% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/gals right now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 20% off your first purchase. One more time, that's thirdlove.com/gals for 20% off today, and treat all your bits.
Treat 'em. Doesn't it seem like the world is against us from getting a good night's sleep this time of year, or every time of year, every night?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so like in Minnesota, you get those really hot, really humid summers, and then we get this beautiful tease of fall around this year, and then surprise,
And then it's winter for
it's-
like 10 months.
Well, first it's surprise 90 degrees for another several days when you've like already taken out your air conditioner, and then it's winter. So it's a roller coaster around here in the Midwest around the fall. And that is really disruptive to my sleep because I get so sweaty at night. I'm a night sweater. Ugh, it's so frustrating.
You're a sweaty one.
I'm a sweaty Betty, but when you have a purple mattress, you can sleep cool and comfortable no matter what the world throws at you. Tell us more.
Oh, and that is because only Purple mattresses have the grid. Its unique ventilated design allows air to flow through it to help you sleep cool, even when it feels like 1,000 degrees out.
Yeah.
I swear to you, this mattress and these pillows, they feel like they're like, it feels like they have their own cooling like mechanism. It's really nice. And the grid is amazingly supportive for your back and legs while cushioning your shoulders, neck, and hips. So no matter how you sleep, you're gonna be comfortable. And unlike memory foam, which remembers everything.
Too much.
No one wants to remember everything.
No.
The grid bounces back as you move and shift, so you never get that I'm stuck feeling that you do with memory foam. Like there's no like divot right in the middle or like right where your husband sleeps. You just kind of roll onto that side of the bed.
Once you roll into it, you can't roll out. You're trapped.
You live there now. So, like I said, it's extraordinarily comfortable. It feels very cool. And if you're like Amanda, or if you sleep with a partner that's like Amanda's, like a little human oven, you need every extra, like, degree of coolness that you can find.
Yeah,
so,
save your marriage.
Honestly, save your marriage, save your relationships, save your co-sleeping habits. So try your Purple mattress risk-free with free shipping and returns, and financing is available too, if you're wondering.
I love that. Purple is comfort reinvented, and right now you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/gals10, that's GALS10, and use that promo code GALS10. That's purple.com/gals10, promo code GALS10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. One more time, purple.com/gals10, promo code GALS10. Terms apply, and treat you sleep.
Are we ready for my case?
Bring it on, asshole.
Yeah.
You got me real excited for it.
I'm all a quiver.
Tecumseh Sherman.
Oh
my
God. Did you cover this to settle a bet with a dead person?
With our dead friend who cannot defend
Holy
herself.
shit. You're the worst person.
Better known by his later
Oh
name,
my
William
God.
Tecumseh Sherman. And I have in my notes, cue story.
I will let someone else take care of this.
I wasn't there. I'm not going to tell it.
Oh, I
Kenyon's
was there.
going to tell
No,
it.
I'll tell it if it's up to between me and Kenyon because she's biased. Okay. We're in Jessica's car, our dead friend Jessica.
She wasn't dead then.
Obviously, she was driving.
Is it Bernie?
Weekend
dead guy?
at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Just saying.
We were driving.
There's no way to know.
We were driving down the road in Chanhassen, and there's a side street that said Tecumseh Drive or whatever. And Jessica said, Tecumseh. And Kenyon goes, it's Tecumseh.
Okay,
And
actually, it went the other way around.
okay, however it went, it
No,
escalated.
it's important how it went.
It escalated
So,
to
this
the
is how it
point.
went. No.
Oh my
I'm
God.
going to correct it before you go on. So, we were driving by.
Amanda
and-
took off her
and
headphones.
I saw the sign, and I said, Tecumseh. And Jessica, who was a really smart lady, but also a bitch, corrected me.
I'm sorry. This was a battle of the stubborn fucking titans. She was no worse than you were.
Yeah. She corrected me and said, did you just say Tecumseh? It's Tecumseh. And I was like, well, it could be named after William Tecumseh Sherman. And she got really mad at me.
There
And
were
she-
two different Tecumsehs, and they're pronounced differently. So you were both right, but you're both so fucking stubborn and insane that it escalated within probably 45 seconds to screaming. She pulled over to the side of the road and forced you out of the vehicle.
I didn't get out, but she really wanted me to get out
She
of the
really
car.
wanted you to get.
But
like,
I was-
the night was very tense from that
But
point on.
I knew that she would 1,000% leave me there on the side of the road and drive away and not
Yep.
look back. And
Yep.
I was not about to walk. So I was like clinging for my life to the interior of that
It
vehicle.
wasn't far from my parents' house. You could have walked.
Yeah, that would have been great. I was like, I'm not getting out. Anyway,
And I'm just in the back going, they're two different people.
you're both
insane.
right. Anyway, it happened. I told that story at her funeral. It's fine. So,
So she was very smart, but also kind of a psycho bitch.
I mean, so am I.
Clearly.
Okay. So, to come see
For
Sherman.
those of you who are not on Patreon, I just took my headphones off and removed myself from that
Oh.
entire story.
They know you were gone.
Okay. I've heard it so many fucking times.
Whatever. He was born in Lancaster, Ohio on February 8th, 1820.
She is so pissed right now that you're getting the last word in this whole story.
Oh no, she will. There's I'm gonna get struck by lightning or something. Like,
She's gonna be pissed.
She'll make herself known.
Comes up all the time in my
She's
life.
to coming for you.
She is to coming for me. All right, so his original first name was a reference to the legendary Shawnee chief and warrior who had tirelessly resisted the expansion of the United States onto native lands, Tecumseh. Tecumseh, huge, major, incredible, badass, amazing human. Eventually, U.S. President William Henry Harrison said of Chief Tecumseh that he was, quote, one of those uncommon geniuses which sprung up occasionally to produce revolutions and overturn the established order of things. And like he came very close to like uniting the Native American tribes like against US like expansion and you know, genocide. Like he was an amazing person. And so white person Tecumseh Sherman was named after him as a baby. Sherman's father had apparently become enamored of tales of this great warrior and chose to bestow the name on his son. Unfortunately, his namesake was a lot fucking cooler than Sherman would prove to be. Tecumseh, who went by the nickname Cump.
Uh-oh.
Cump?
Cump.
I don't like
Stop saying it.
that. Sounds like so many different things. I
Come
hate
on,
it.
Eileen.
Come on, Eileen.
Happy Comp Day.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. They literally called him Cump.
No, I can't. President Cump.
I'm gonna start calling you Cump. I'm gonna go between Cump and Pampers.
So Cump was one of 11 children.
You're my closest companion. Mademoiselle Cump.
Cump.
Monsieur Cump.
His father was a successful lawyer and an Ohio Supreme Court justice, but when he passed away when Lil Cump was just 9 years old,
Lil
the family fell into poverty. So very quick turnaround. His mother, unable to support the children on her own, because like, how do you not have the right to work and then also have 11 children?
Yeah.
One of them named Cump.
Was forced to parcel out her kids to various friends and acquaintances to like be fostered.
I mean, that's how it should be. It takes a village.
She dumped Cump.
Dump Cump.
She
Cump and dump.
She didn't want to, but she was forced to dump Cump.
Right, got to.
So Cump was adopted by a wealthy lawyer and a future U.S. senator named Thomas Ewing, who insisted that the quote, ew, ing. Your name is Cump? Ew.
Ew.
Ing.
I mean, yeah, ew.
So he insisted that
Fucking ew.
that the, quote, pagan name of Tecumseh be abandoned in favor of the more, quote, proper name of William, and that his new son also be baptized as a Roman Catholic. So he was like, you're not Cump anymore.
I mean, to be
11-year-old
fair, I
child.
would change that name too, but
Yeah. And now you're fucking William. So William had a complex relationship with his new father, who he found to be, surprise, harsh, and controlling. And when William was 16, Ewing secured him a spot at West Point, where he excelled academically but had problems with authority. Working out his shit about his father dying and his stepdad changing his name without his consent.
Little
Yeah.
bit fair.
While away at school, he corresponded regularly with Ewing's eldest daughter and his adoptive sister, Ellen, who he had grown close to in his 7 years with the family, so literally between the ages of like 11 and 18, this girl was his sister.
Formative years.
And then he started writing to her, and they would eventually go on to marry. A marriage that one source described as a, quote, psychodrama.
Oh, no. So not great.
That's how some would describe my marriage, too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not quite.
I don't think so.
A psychodrama.
Your marriage is very even keeled.
It's like the most normal.
It's pretty stagnant, yeah.
Stagnant? That's not what I said. Steady, I would say.
Stable.
Tepid.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Are you guys okay?
Don't start that rumor mill
Again.
up again.
There are so many rumors that I'm either pregnant or getting a divorce or both.
Yeah, pick one or
Nothing is
mind your
happening.
own fucking business.
I'm a lot more boring than you guys make it
Than I look.
make it sound.
We're also really bad at keeping secrets. So if one of us is going to have a child, get a divorce,
Yeah, you're
or
gonna
get
know.
engaged, you're going to know before our own mothers know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
there are pretty much no secrets.
None.
So after graduating from West Point, Sherman took part in various military assignments through the South, including against the Seminole Indians in Florida, and subjugating Native Americans would become a lifelong trend for him.
Ironic.
But he didn't distinguish himself in battle and found military life lackluster. So in 1853, he made the decision to leave the military and work as a banker in San Francisco. Unfortunately for him, his time as a banker coincided with the bursting of the gold rush bubble
Oh, God.
and
Oh,
the
dear.
financial panic of 1857.
He's had a lot of ups and downs. in
Yeah,
his
He's
this
life.
had
is
a lot
rough.
of ups and downs. He fails a lot of the time, leading
is
to
rough.
the total collapse of his bank and also his own financial ruin.
Oh, no.
So penniless.
Meanwhile, he and his sister wife, Ellen,
Oh, Lord.
had numerous children. They eventually had 8. 2 of them would die from disease, but that's still a pretty good average for the time. Still, quote, the marriage was thoroughly miserable for both parties.
That is goals.
The Shermans were unhappy when they were together, and William was unhappy and jealous when his wife returned to the comforts of her father's house for her increasingly lengthy visits.
Yeah, she's just getting away from you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like he's trying to say she's like sleeping with her dad.
I don't think he went that far. I think he just was jealous that she would go away for months at a time.
Yeah.
And he was like,
More
you're supposed
just
to be my wife.
More just resentment than jealousy, maybe.
Yeah. Or I think he was jealous and thought that she was like seeing somebody there, but not necessarily her dad. I don't think that was the accusation.
I hope not, because ish.
Yeah, because her dad was also his dad.
Yeah.
So after
I am my own grandpa.
Oh, Lord.
So after his failure as a banker, Sherman accepted a job as the headmaster of a military academy in Louisiana, a job that he would excel at, but which would prove to be short-lived. Now, Sherman was by no means an abolitionist or even remotely interested in helping the enslaved people of the South. So, like, even though he would go on to become a Civil War Union general, you know, quote unquote hero, like, he was not an anti-racist. He once wrote arguing against the abolition of slavery, saying, and this is really gross, so be prepared, quote, when Negroes are liberated, either they or their masters must perish.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
But he was extremely loyal to the Union, and so when talk of secession began to reach a boiling point, he got the fuck out of Louisiana and returned to the North to join the Union Army. And in July of 1861, he distinguished himself in combat at the First Battle of Bull Run. And I know very little about the various fucking Civil War battles because I don't care. This resulted. I just don't. You can't keep track of everything.
There are a lot of battles, and they were all important for different reasons. It's
Right.
like,
It was like, turned the tide this way, it turned the tide that way. The most people died. The most people died up until that point.
yeah.
It's all horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. So this resulted, so he did really fucking well at this battle. So this resulted in a promotion to brigadier general and being given command of Union troops in Kentucky and Tennessee. However, Sherman never wanted the promotion and soon cracked under the pressure.
Oh,
And his behavior became like increasingly bizarre and eventually like impossible to ignore.
Uh-oh.
So modern historians have speculated that he was suffering from depression or nervous exhaustion. He basically had a full-blown nervous breakdown.
Ooh.
In 1861, the Cincinnati commercial newspaper bluntly reported, quote, "The painful intelligence reaches us in such a form that we are not at liberty to discredit it. That General W.T. Sherman, late commander of the Army of the Cumberland, is insane."
Oh.
Oh, don't sugarcoat it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cincinnati commercial.
Yeah.
No privacy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, not long after that headline, Sherman requested to be relieved of his new position.
Yeah.
You probably
for the best. I bet you lose a lot of trust when you're just declared insane in the newspaper.
Yeah, and you're
not good
supposed to-
PR.
leading troops into battle. Yeah, not
Right.
great. So, after being sidelined from the war effort for a few months and like recuperating, he seemed to be mentally more okay and was placed under the command of General Ulysses S. Grant. And he did do better under Grant's leadership than he had done solo. So he was much more of like a helper than a leader. So their partnership got off to a promising start with a crucial victory at the Battle of Shiloh. The two men would become co-strategists and confidants for the remainder of the war.
I thought you were going to say co-stars, and it just felt
They were
normal.
co-hosts of a hit
Co-hosts
podcast.
of a warcast.
But Sherman's early inability to function due to the stress of war soon hardened into ruthlessness that would become legendary. Sherman came to believe that the only way to beat the Confederates and preserve the Union was to wage a war so brutal that it would not only result in the winning of battles, but in completely destroying the morale of the enemy.
Oh my God.
I don't like that plan.
Which, like, is also what people say to try to justify, like, dropping the bomb,
Right.
or rather bombs, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki of, like, well, it was horrible, but it ended the war quicker.
Ugh.
It's like, sure, but it also killed a lot of people.
Fucking
innocent
civilians.
people.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated legacy, and we're going to get through some of it. So,
Great.
he wrote to Grant that, quote, "We cannot change the hearts of those people of the South," which is probably true, as we can see now, hundreds of years later.
Well, you know, the South is not. It's
not a monolith.
It's not, and it's also like we've talked about this before. Like red states are often suppressed and oppressed states with a pretty
Like suppressed
fucking
blue states.
yeah. I mean, it happened. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you're not actually a silent majority. You're like
you're
actually,
a really loud minority.
and you have to literally like keep black and brown people from voting to keep your power. So like, yeah. So like, yes, those people still exist very much all over the country.
Yeah.
There just seems to be more success in the South for whatever reason a lot of the
Right.
time.
Well, probably a lot of historical reasons.
But he's obviously talking here about the hearts of those people of the South. He's talking
For
about
sure.
the white people of the South who
Yeah.
were
Right. Who
a
wanted to-
total minority.
Right,
in
and
the
who
South.
wanted to protect
Right.
and defend slavery. Yeah.
But, finishing the quote, "We can make war so terrible that they will throw down their arms."
Ugh.
To an Army officer named Henry Halleck, who went by the bananas nickname of Old Brains.
Old brains.
Old Brains. Old Brains over here.
Old Rubber Brains.
We got
Can that be my
Hump.
new nickname?
Yeah.
Comp and
Just
old brains.
Old brains.
Old Brains McDusterson.
Oh, God. Old
I would
brains,
take old
Wendell.
brains over Kump any day, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So Sherman told Old Brains once, quote, "War is upon us. None can deny it. I would not coax them or meet them halfway, but make them so sick of war that generations would pass away before they would again appeal to it." Which,
Okay.
that seems to have happened, and now those generations are ready for it again. it's fine.
Yeah.
And there is no better example of this strategy than Sherman's infamous March to the Sea, in which his Union troops seized Atlanta and made their way from there to Savannah, destroying infrastructure, supply lines, and Confederate civilian property as they went in what has been described as a, quote, 60-mile wide path of total destruction. So they, burned everything. They salted fields so that you couldn't grow shit for a while in those fields.
Yeah, for a long while.
But it did have I'm not defending fucking up civilians like this, but it did have a military purpose of destroying supply chains for the Confederate Army,
Right.
destroying communication lines.
The strategy's fucked up, but it's a strategy.
But it's effective as shit. So they were able to achieve this in near total secrecy by destroying Georgia's telegraph lines, making it almost impossible for the Confederate Army to track Sherman's movements and just as difficult for the higher-ups in the Union Army to do the same. So basically, he just was like, okay, I'm going in, and fucked up all of the state of Georgia to get to Savannah, which is it was just further south. It's on the Gulf. It's further south than Atlanta. And even Lincoln didn't know. Once he went in, even Lincoln didn't know what he was up to until he was done. So when asked about Sherman's whereabouts during the time, President Lincoln is rumored to have responded, quote, "We know what hole he went in, but we don't know what hole he will come out of."
Holy shit.
We know he went into Old Brains hole.
Oh.
Back to holes.
That's creepy. So many holes in this episode.
So when Sherman finally did get in touch with Lincoln, it was to send the following telegram, quote, "I beg to present you as a Christmas gift the city of Savannah."
Wow.
Oh, Jesus. He's so dramatic.
He is. This operation is credited with, quote, "breaking the back of the Confederacy and hastening its surrender." Writing later of his decision to march to the coast after taking Atlanta, Sherman said, "My aim was to whip the rebels, to humble their pride, to follow them to their inmost recesses, to make them fear and dread us." Which, it is war.
Uh-huh.
A major part of Sherman's belief system was that the Confederates had declared themselves enemies of the state and therefore no longer had any right to its protections, which also kind of tracks. In an 1864 letter, he wrote that civilians should be left alone when possible, but that anyone indicating loyalty to the Confederacy should be treated mercilessly.
Yeah, their threat. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I do get it, because people
People had guns. They're going to defend
they're going to supply the enemy.
Yeah, and defend what they see as their property, literally, these people.
So, quote, "These are the well-established principles of war, and the people of the South, having appealed to war, are barred from appealing to our Constitution, which they have practically and publicly defied." So, they can't they can't say, "We don't follow this Constitution," and then be like, "Oh, this is unconstitutional."
Yeah, yeah.
They have appealed to war and must abide by its rules and laws, displace the disloyal masters, and let the Negroes have the houses and cleared land. It is useless to talk about constitutional means for a condition never contemplated by any constitution. So that might sound positive and beneficial. Okay, these people declared war, they're going to lose, and then let the people that they've enslaved have the spoils of war. Unfortunately, and most problematically for history, Sherman's tough stance against the Confederates essentially dissolved as soon as they surrendered. So as soon as he got them to surrender, he was like, "Never mind, it's okay."
Yeah.
It's
You were just
fine.
protecting the
He was
people
bluffing.
you own.
So Sherman was willing to accept extremely lenient terms of surrender from the Confederates, such as granting amnesty to rebel soldiers and allowing states to immediately re-enter the Union after simply swearing an oath of allegiance. And the same thing for like former Confederate soldiers and officers. It was just like, okay, well, just swear an allegiance and you get all your land back. You get your voting rights back, everything. It's like it never happened. So surrender agreements such as this enraged the Secretary of War, Edwin Stanton, who accused Sherman of, quote, giving up all the advantages we had gained. But it is not Sherman's own racism and leniency towards the faux repentant Confederates that is remembered in the South today. As recently as 2012, history books have been published with titles such as What the Yankees Did to Us, Sherman's Bombardment and Wrecking of Atlanta.
Yikes.
Which, like... Yeah.
I'm certain there are long-term ramifications of that war tactic that are still probably felt today. And we wouldn't have been at war in that way in the first place.
It's so completely fucking one-sided, and there's such blinders on to be like, think about the ramifications of the harm that was done to our white people
Right.
in the mid-1800s.
Yeah.
But no recognition of the harm that was done to enslaved people.
No. And the
For
harm...
hundreds of years before that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the harm that
And
was
100
done
years after that.
to like the infrastructure of that area and the ramifications of that harm that we feel today are probably most disproportionately felt by like oppressed communities too. So
Yeah.
it's just...
It's like, yeah, he burned down some farms and cut down some telegraph poles, but like ultimately you fucking enslaved people for
Exactly.
hundreds of years and then also brutalized them for another 100 years.
And then went to war defending that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, get off your fucking high horse. Anyway. Also, you declared war and now you're bitching about the effects of war when like you fucking chose it. It wasn't brought to your doorstep. You fucking chose it. Okay, of course, this isn't why I chose this asshole of history for this episode. What often gets forgotten in Sherman's legacy is his barbarism towards another less advantaged group, the Plains Indians. So we know a lot about like what a fucking piece of shit Andrew Jackson was.
Right.
But like William Tecumseh Sherman was also a huge fucking asshole to the Indians. So after the Civil War, Sherman was tasked with ensuring the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. Unsurprisingly, he took a heavy-handed, some would say genocidal, approach to accomplishing this.
Great.
So he reportedly told the chief of one tribe that was resisting, quote, "You cannot stop the locomotive any more than you can stop the sun or the moon, and you must submit."
Wow.
God.
That's a text. That's
He
one
is
you
such a drama
screenshot to
king.
get your ex with later.
He's a drama comp.
Drama
He
code.
is a drama comp. So in order to break the spirits of the Plains tribes and subdue any further resistance, Sherman decided to target their most important resource for survival, the buffalo.
Oh, Jesus.
So cutting off their like food and fucking
Cultural.
cultural and also the clothes on their backs,
Yeah,
the
everything.
shoes on their feet.
Their entire way of life. Everything.
Yeah. And so this one man was instrumental in the massacre of an estimated 5 million bison.
Jesus Christ.
And there's a photo on the drive entitled Pile of Bison
oh
Skulls.
my God.
Pile.
Another bad pile.
Do you see it?
And you
Oh,
know that these weren't used. They were
No.
just slaughtered to
probably
be slaughtered.
burned and
Uh-huh.
left to rot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's sick.
Like practically the extinction of a species.
Yeah.
In order to facilitate the construction of the railroad and the relocation of the Plains tribes onto reservations, / essentially what are larger concentration camps. He wrote in an 1867 letter to Ulysses S. Grant that, quote, "We are not going to," and again, this is really gross and also a quote, so just be prepared. We are not going to let a few thieving, ragged Indians check and stop the progress of the railroads. We
Jesus
must
fucking
act
Christ.
with vindictive earnestness against the Sioux, even to their extermination, men, women, and children.
Oh my God.
During an assault, the soldiers cannot pause to distinguish between male and female or even discriminate as to age.
It was everyone.
That is genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is like
Written
the
down in a
definition
document.
of genocide. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's one thing
To the president.
Right. Like, we know of these atrocities, but to hear this verbatim demand for this kind of just inhumane slaughter is, yeah, that's hard.
And
That's
Grant
fucked
was
up.
like, do what you got to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and don't worry, he was also soups anti-Semitic. I know you're shocked.
Yeah. I mean, I just figured,
Yeah.
honestly.
So during the Civil War, he wrote constantly of his hatred and prejudice against Jewish Americans, blaming them almost exclusively for like the black market popping up during war.
What the fuck?
Which like
That's like a regular side effect
that's
of
a
war.
given of
Yeah.
war. And then complaining that he was, quote, chasing swarms of Jews in one letter.
He's lost his gourd.
Mm-hmm. He then issued the notorious General Order Number 11. This was during the Civil War, that considered Jewish citizens as an enemy class unto themselves
Jesus Christ.
and ordered that they be, quote, driven from his area of control. So he was like trying to like exterminate Jewish Americans from the South.
Right. Which was his quote unquote area of control.
Right. And Lincoln undid this order as soon as he heard about it because he was fucking going rogue. And Lincoln was like, no. But
Yeah.
okay. So the lasting legacy of Sherman's policies is that he is credited by some with inventing the concept of total war, a type of warfare that rather than involving only battles between like lined up military forces, includes the destruction of non-military targets in order to destroy the morale of an entire people. And like, he definitely did not invent that. That's just preposterous.
Yeah.
That's not-
Say, war's been around longer than that.
Yeah.
And like
That's-
the lining up of two teams
Yeah.
is fairly modern
Yeah.
in comparison to like the history of humans.
Yeah. It's a fucking absurd claim, but fine.
Also, congrats, you invented total warfare.
Yeah.
Good job.
Cool legacy, boss. Comp.
Comp. Cool legacy comp.
So
He's a
his
total comp.
Absolute comp.
what a comp. So his unforgiving nature and fearsomeness as an opponent also led to a notorious instrument of war being named after him, the Sherman tank, which we will not get into. In recent years, after generations of being viewed as a villain in the South, largely due to fucked up
Being
but
a villain.
iconic books like Gone with the Wind and other like fucked up lost cause,
Yeah.
the South will rise again bullshit narratives, there has been some reassessment of Sherman's legacy. A historical marker that was erected in Atlanta in 2014 to commemorate the 150-year anniversary of the March to the Sea, which, like, that's a bonkers statue to put up.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm against all the Confederate statues, but, like, maybe also don't put up this statue.
I don't want to commemorate anything
Any of
that's
this
like
shit.
this violent.
Right.
Pause on all the statues.
Yeah. We've
Except
we've
for
got a
Jackie
lot.
Martin.
We've got a lot
Yeah.
of statues.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe just some, like, nature
Yeah.
thing, non-controversial. So anyway,
Yeah.
so this statue emphasizes the fact that nearly all of Sherman's targets in his attacks were strategic military targets and that his tactics did demoralize Confederates and hastened the end of slavery and the reunification of the nation. And he pretty much only cared about the nation part and not the slavery part.
Right. Well,
And the
fucking
winning
clearly.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, on the somewhat positive description of the March to the Sea on this new marker, James C. Cobb, a history professor at the University of Georgia, stated, quote, It has not been a legend that white Southerners have been particularly eager to surrender because it was all part of their sense of grievance that they have been so severely wronged during the Civil War. Oh, woe is me thing. Mm-hmm. The old stereotype is a long way from disappearing. There's this sort of instinctive sense of Sherman embodying the whole Yankee cause and the presumed vindictiveness and unrelenting harshness that the white South was subjected to. But again...
Yeah.
You brought it on yourselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Sherman's legacy continues to be debated, and he himself often seemed to have doubts about his dedication to war. He wrote in one letter that, quote, I confess without shame. Again, fucking...
Of course not.
A drama comp.
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of fighting. Its glory is all moonshine. Even success, the most brilliant, is over dead and mangled bodies, with the anguish and lamentations of distant families appealing to me for sons, husbands, and fathers. 'Tis only those who have never heard a shot, never heard the shriek and groans of the wounded and lacerated, that cry aloud for more blood, more vengeance, more desolation.
Mm-hmm.
But then, the Civil War ended, and he just, did it again to the Plains tribes. Anyway, it is thoughts like these that probably led him to coin the phrase that he is best remembered for, quote, war is hell.
Yeah. I'm sure that he wasn't feeling sorry for the dead and mangled bodies of certain people.
I don't think he was feeling sorry for the dead and mangled bodies of any people. I think he got off on all this shit.
Probably, well, it sounds like his own soldiers at least had some emotional effect on him, but to go back then and just commit genocide with all the Plains Indians, it wasn't that bad, sounds like. He wasn't affected that much.
To just go back and do it all again. And also just exterminate an entire species of animal just so that your job of exterminating a people would be easier.
Yep.
Yeah, so
he's an asshole. What an asshole.
ASSHOLE. Such an asshole.
HOLE.
Wow.
Such an asshole. What an asshole.
So he's an example of how sometimes the enemy of your enemy is still your enemy.
Yeah. There are assholes everywhere.
Yeah.
Good God.
So that's my case.
Nice job.
What a heartwarmer. What a heartwarmer.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break.
Cump it up.
So I can cump up the
While
jams.
this jam is cumping.
Oh, and your cump is clumping. All right. Let's hear a word from our sponsor.
So I have never really been into phone games until we started touring in 2019.
Yeah.
And then sitting on an airplane for hours on end every week. You get
Kind of a nightmare.
You get kind of bored. It's a little bit of a nightmare, and books can only hold my attention for so long if I'm being completely honest.
Yep.
So you may have heard us talking before about Best Fiends. In my opinion, it is the best Match 3 style game by far. It is really engrossing, I will say.
Can confirm.
It's so fun to play. It feels like you're making progress, and yet I could just find myself sitting on the couch watching Real Housewives, or in today's case, 9 Perfect Strangers, and just playing Best Fiends and feeling like I'm getting stuff done. I'm having fun. I'm giving my brain a little bit of a workout. It's just, it is the most, like I said, engrossing phone game I've ever even attempted to play, and I'm on level 767, not to brag. I also know Amanda's on level 6,000 because there are thousands of levels.
Josh Hallmark is on that level. I'm on level 1,900 something.
Well,
paling in comparison.
That's still impressive.
Yeah, but it's like you said, it's so engrossing and fun and easy to play while still challenging your mind. And I never get sick of it because you can play through an actual storyline, which is super fun, compete with good guys, your fiends, and not so good guys, the slugs. Ugh. And you get to level up your fiends. So they start out as cute little baby versions of their future selves. You can get them costumes and collect all these versions of them. It's so much fun.
It's like a competitive Tamagotchi experience.
It kind of is. And the more you play, the more fiends join your team, and then the more powerful they become, helping you solve increasingly challenging puzzles as you progress through the game. So each fiend has a different power, and then you have to select them, based on the level that you're in so that you can win. Like, it's really puzzling and really super fun. It's an action-packed adventure and a brain-boosting puzzle game all rolled into one, and with new content added all the time. You're never bored. They do like seasonal challenges and collections. It's so cute. I am in love. There's always a fresh challenge waiting for me when I need a mental pick-me-up.
Yeah, and you don't even need the internet to play. Like I said, we played on airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back when you could fly without a second thought.
Yep.
It's just so much fun. So download Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's Friends without the R, Best Fiends.
I do this thing when I go to the nail salon and I get my nails done, and then I get lazy. Like, they look really good for, they last like a few weeks, and that's awesome, and I love that. But then I get really lazy, and then I can't bring myself to make another appointment, and then I peel it off, which then my nails tech gets really mad that I've just destroyed my nails.
Yeah, that's bad for your nails.
It's really bad for your nails. And this was a cycle that I was trapped in until I discovered Olive and June, the greatest thing to ever happen to me in my life. And their mani system is how you get a DIY mani at home that looks salon perfect and lasts, about 7 or more days. And I have that sweet, sweet ADHD, so it allows me to kind of switch up my look a little more frequently without destroying my nails and walking out with a salon perfect manicure coming from my house.
Ugh. Olive and June, when I use my mani system, it's like my self-care time.
Mm-hmm.
I really like meticulous, just really self-indulgent projects.
Yeah.
So I love to use I do their primer, and then I do the coat, and then I do another coat, and then I do the glossy top, and then I use their dry drops. And it's just they just have so many products that make it really fun to give yourself a beautiful at-home manicure. They also have their pedi system as well, with even more fun things to try out. Not to mention,
I'm using that because I can't go to the nail salon down a toenail.
Oh, right.
So 9 of my toes look really good.
And they won't give a 10% discount.
They won't.
We
I
asked. Plus, their colors are so cute. They change up with every season. I need to get their fall. They have this beautiful array, a palette of purples that go from a really nice, cool, light purple to almost a brownish purple.
I love.
It's so pretty. Plus, we've talked about the poppy before. I cannot sing its praises enough. It's like a rubber handle that you just pop on the top of your nail polish brushes, and you can paint your dominant hand no problem at all.
I was not a poppy believer until I used it.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Real. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now you can get 20% off your first mani system with our code GALS because your new nail life is here. Get that 20% off your first mani system, again, when you use that promo code GALS at oliveandjune.com, because we are done with expensive and bad manis. This is the new us. Treat your nails.
Trade them.
Are we ready for my case?
Oh, yes.
Get it out. Get it out of your asshole.
All this talk about assholes, I mean.
I know. It's making me fort.
Well, you do have voluntary control over that sphincter, just a reminder.
Sometimes.
True.
Yeah. I have shit. in my
It's a
pants.
case-by-case basis.
So this case was also chosen by our fan picker, and
God bless.
dang. So here we go. When we look back at the history of aviation, what pops up in our heads?
A flaming Zeppelin.
Amelia Earhart.
If you said the Wright brothers, you'd be correct.
We both went to horrific disasters.
Should have been the easiest answer.
Flaming Zeppelin.
And a missing woman. And an unsolved
The Wright
disappearance.
brothers. And a death. Wow.
know that.
Okay.
We haven't found her.
Know your audience.
I mean, she's dead now.
Maybe
Been
she
a
was
while.
cryogenically frozen on that one island off the British Isles.
Or there is a time
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call
Butthole.
it? Portal. A time butthole. An
She went-
undulating time butthole.
She went through one sphincter and
The
she's
Bermuda
waiting to be
time
released
butthole.
by the second sphincter.
The Bermuda sphincter.
The Bermuda time butthole. So, the aviation geniuses grew up like any other normal kiddos in the Midwest.
If you said the right
Brothers. They played a fuck ton of hockey.
Oh, God
Yep.
bless.
This is in Ohio. One winter day in 1886, the boys were playing on a frozen pond in their hometown of Dayton, Ohio. In a seemingly innocuous, at first, incident, neighbor boy Oliver Crook Hoff,
Oliver Crump Howe.
I wish, how is that your name? Hit Wilbur Wright smack in the face with his hockey stick, knocking a bunch of his teeth out.
Oh.
This proved to be a life-altering injury, with Wilbur needing false upper teeth implanted, permanent jaw pain and misalignment, and due to which he suffered long-term digestive complications that led to heart palpitations and depression.
I was
Digestive
gonna,
problems because of his teeth?
Yeah, I mean, this
eating,
is
probably.
in the 1800s, so he couldn't, it fucked up his jaw, which there, wasn't proper surgery for.
Right.
And then they implanted, quote unquote, teeth, which is here are some wooden dentures, good luck chewing.
Right.
So he had been super into athletics, and he was going to go to Yale, and I think he was going to play football or some shit. And aviation was not on his path.
I was
And
gonna
then
say
he got fucked up by this kid in the neighborhood who ended up being the neighborhood bully. He was a real
so
asshole.
it was kind of on purpose. It wasn't just an accident playing
I was gonna
hockey.
say you play hockey, you kind of ask for a couple of teeth to be knocked out, but long-term complications that led to heart palpitations
Yeah.
and depression probably
Yeah.
wasn't something he signed up for at 8 years old.
Well, he wasn't 8, but he was 16 or 17, end of high school. But yes,
You're
still
still
very
a child
young.
with an incomplete brain.
1,000%. He's a kid, and then another little fucker clocked him in the face and fucking changed his life. So Oliver lived 2 blocks from the Wrights and was 3 years younger than Wilbur.
Wait, are
He
we
would-
following the neighbor kid?
Yup.
That's who we're following? Okay.
Yup.
All right.
He was one of 2 boys and had an after-school job at a local drugstore. Oliver himself also had dental issues, with teeth literally rotting out of his head, and he treated the pain with cocaine tooth drops, which were just a thing in the 1800s.
That sounds amazing.
There's ghosts in your blood, do cocaine about it.
Yeah.
And there's a
Yeah.
photo on the drive of the tooth drops advertisement or label, which features children.
Cocaine toothache drops. Instantaneous cure.
Yeah, I'll fucking bet.
Only 15 cents.
And
Look
that
at those
was
kids
pure
building. Those kids
They
are
are-
building their Lincoln logs furiously.
They really are. They got a lot of ideas about those Lincoln logs.
They are
I'm
hyper
going to tell you
focused.
all about them.
They're hyper focused, and that Lincoln Log house will be a city by sundown.
That is one of 85 Lincoln log houses.
Uh-huh.
They just only
So-
illustrated one.
As a result of the pain and the tooth drops, he became addicted to cocaine and whatever other snake oil medicinal tonics he could get his hands on. And this,
Heroin.
Opium.
Yeah,
Oh.
opium.
both of you are correct. So this is definitely feeling like a throwback to the goat balls guy.
Yes, I love the goat balls guy.
balls is
I
a good
know,
one.
our little snake oil goat ball man. So he took a particular liking to some knockoff pectoral drops, as they were advertised, ish, which contained opium as their primary ingredient. So they're like, now with more opium.
yeah.
30%.
Opium. They just don't make meds like they used to, do they?
Sure don't.
Family
So-
pack.
Yeah. Costco-sized pectoral drops.
Twofer.
A twofer. A BOGO.
A BOGO.
So his time working in the local pharmacy set him on a path to become a doctor under the tutelage of his mentor, Otho, which might be Otto, but pronounced Otto, but it's spelled Otho or Otho. I don't know. Evans Francis.
It's too bad he didn't become an orthodontist.
Orthodontist. That would have been good.
yeah, what an
Orthopedic
awful
surgeon.
name.
An orthopedic surgeon.
He successfully enrolled at Cincinnati Medical College in 1888, but took a, quote, hiatus from his schooling because his substance use disorder greatly disrupted his ability to, like, complete assignments and go to class.
Yeah, that'd be
Which
tough.
are a little bit key to becoming a doctor.
If you're in
and if
like
you
an
haven't
opium
watched,
haze, that would be tough.
it would be
Also,
tough.
it's not like he's quitting anytime soon. He's
No.
surrounded by this type of medicine.
You can just buy it from anyone at any
Mm-hmm.
store. The label on the cocaine tooth drops says for sale by all druggists in
Yeah.
big letters at the bottom,
and like
which means you can go to CVS and buy like compression socks and cocaine tooth drops.
and like you know how Michael Caine in Cider House Rules is addicted to like the ether.
Yup.
Oh,
Huffing.
all of that shit.
Oh, yeah. So easy to get. So going to class is kind of key to becoming a doctor. So he kind of fucked up. And if you haven't watched Dr. Death, this is like the most Dr. Death adjacent.
Oh, God. Dr.
the show is so good. The podcast
Listen,
is so good.
The podcast is even better. Please, please, please listen to the podcast. It's so
I don't know. The show is fucking amazing. It's a very, very good show. And it's like a docu-series. It's not like a documentary. So it has like such a fucking good cast. And I'm obsessed. Pacey Witter, so good. Anyway, okay. So while in school, he met and fell in love with Anna Margaret Eckley, and the two soon married. Anna's father died right before their nuptials, allowing them to fund their new life together with the life insurance money. And Oliver returned to medical school, this time at Miami Medical College, but in Ohio, because Ohio has that like Miami University of Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. Is there a Miami, Ohio? Is that
Yes.
why?
I'm pretty sure.
I know
I'll
about the
Google it.
university. but I
Is it
don't know
named
if
after
it's
the
after
town it's in? I've
Oh
never
no,
known.
Miami University is in Oxford, Ohio. But it's a massive university.
Oh, I know. I'm just wondering why they call it Miami.
It was named after the Miami Indians who once resided in Ohio.
Got it.
There
we
you go.
Okay. So he goes back to college, but was kicked out after one semester. He was
Because
very
he was
determined
unconscious the whole time.
or too conscious.
Oh, we don't want
One
to
or
be too
the other.
conscious.
Yeah, he was not able to keep up with school and opium and cocaine. That's a lot to juggle. But he was determined to become a doctor and enrolled in Louisville Medical College, finally graduating from that clearly lesser institution in 1893.
Probably.
Kenyon shows off
I
her
don't
pennant
know.
for Louisville Medical College. Class of 05.
Oh my God.
1905.
I like how both of our assholes in history were born in Ohio and then lived in Kentucky for a while.
Guess we
So-
found the recipe for assholes.
Oh my God.
Where did Dennis Leary grow up?
you
Oh my
Google
God.
it. So again, because this was the fucking 1800s, a
Probably
mediocre coke-addled newbie doctor could just graduate college and then open his own practice, which he did in his hometown of Dayton.
He's from Massachusetts.
Dennis Leary was born in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh, that
to
explains that.
surprise absolutely no one.
That fits. That tracks. So in the most Dr. Death aspirational move ever, Oliver decided he was going to change science forever by tapping into his favorite book, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, written by Robert Louis Stevenson.
That's his goal. That's his idol for being a doctor is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
That's not great.
Oliver believed that this fiction could actually come true and he could alter the human race as we know it by successfully combining like the thoughts or like the minds of two sentient beings that could share a single body.
Oh, Kenyon and I were going to do that.
I mean, we've basically done that.
It's done.
it's done.
It is done. Quote, I am at work on the evolution of a drug which in its perfection will create a new era of science, a new order of thought, and a new race of beings. I will bring into the reality of day something more wonderful than Stevenson in his wildest dreams ever imagined. I will prove that which he only suggested, the certainty that two beings can exist in the one body, and the one blotting out the influence of the other.
That's
Why?
Rousing.
How about just, I want people to suffer less and live longer?
Oh, no, not
Also-
Dr. Oliver.
Also claiming that you're going to come up with something more wonderful than Stevenson in his wildest dreams ever imagined. It's a fictional book.
Yeah.
I mean, he imagined it.
Those
in
were
some
his
wild
wildest
dreams, I assume. Yeah,
that he
so
imagined.
he's going to do it better.
Oh my God.
So this is from the Herald Democrat, published April 19th, 1907, almost 10 years to the day before Grandma Helen was born into the world.
Oh my
on April
God.
15th, 1907. Hal was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in real life. He manufactured a drug that when he partook of it, because he experimented on himself,
Of course he did.
obviously, converted him into a veritable demon. And it seems that after each dose, he became seized with the uncontrollable desire to take human life.
Yeah, I'm
God.
sure only after dosing himself and not
Yeah.
before.
Like Dr. Death, Oliver had high aspirations fueled by literally being high, but really couldn't carry them out. He'd open practice after practice, each one doomed to close, often immediately. He was rarely sober, and his cocaine-induced mania got him several stints in the local asylum of wherever he was. He soon earned himself a reputation as his patients would often die under his care, as he would experiment with treatments and seem to have a complete disregard for the humanity of the infirm.
Oh, dear God.
Yup. These deaths forced him to change towns and states to open new and short-lived practices. His wife Anna tried to leave him several times, often the victim of drug-fueled abuse, and even tried to file for divorce, but women's lack of agency at the time and her 2 pregnancies kept her from being able to successfully leave the marriage. So they had 2 children together. Despite Oliver's behavior and continuous affairs that he was having, some of which led to marriage while he was still married to Anna, I am telling you, digital record keeping has ruined adultery.
Yeah,
This guy
ruins
was a
polygamy.
mess.
Ruined it. He's a mess. So after another one of his
Or bigamy.
asylum... Yes, bigamy.
Yeah, bigamy.
Right. But, he was just also just fucking cheating and being an asshole.
Right.
After another one of his asylum stays, he left town and set up shop in Spooner, Wisconsin.
Spooner?
Spooner.
So cute. And met and married a woman named Delia Betters, and she betters know what she's getting herself into.
Hashtag betters half.
Oh my God.
love
Write
that.
it down for the Emporium.
It's for the Emporium.
It's for the Emporium. He soon had to leave Spooner as well after being arrested for the death of one of his patients, but acquitted for that crime. So he started a practice in the tiny town of Suring, Wisconsin, which is very close to the Michigan border, like the little fingers of Michigan.
Sir.
Sure. And almost immediately killed a patient there with a morphine overdose.
Great.
He was able to explain these recurrences away. Seriously, watch or listen to Dr. Death. Doctors, you're doing God's work, and every once in a while, there's a rogue asshole,
Freak.
and it's so hard to rein them in because of all the systems that protect them. Which, I get it. We're human. We can't, be fucked over after every actual accident or whatever, but that's why they carry medical malpractice insurance. Anyway, I'm high, and that's where that line of logic went. So he was able to explain this away, and this practice that he was in Suring, actually stayed open and thrived for the first time in his life. Oliver and Delia were living in Michigan.
What does that say about Wisconsin?
That's what I'm saying. Oliver and Delia were living in Michigan and caring for her ailing mother when Delia discovered that Oliver was married to at least one other woman, if we remember Anna in Ohio. Delia left him, and went to the police to charge him with bigamy. He stayed in Michigan, though, because he was living rent-free in this house, and continued to, quote, care for Delia's mother until she suddenly died in 1903. And yeah, he probs did it.
Yeah.
After her death,
And
he left,
he probs did it, but
and
we've got bigger fish to fry next.
Just gonna gloss right over that.
Next. Yeah, he probs did it. After her death, he left and returned to Ohio. He met a woman there named Jenny Toohey and a man named Dr. Samuel S. Herman. Jenny and Oliver started hooking up, and he recruited her to help him open a practice in Lima, Ohio, because she was flush with cash from an inheritance, that she had gotten from her family.
He sounds a lot like H.H. Holmes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But like way more manic and scattered and probably more cocaine and just like not as creative. He's not building trapdoors or anything fucking cool. So during that time, Oliver confessed to his new BFF, Dr. Samuel, that he had killed several women while performing abortions and wished to kill his own brother one day. Aspirations. He threatened Dr. Sam into silence by vowing to kill him too if he told anyone. He was brought up on charges while he was in Chicago or in Ohio, in the Cincinnati area, for 6 of his patient deaths, but criminal intent could not be proven. So
Oh my
again, the case was
God.
dropped. Because
There
it's
should
like,
be ratings.
I mean, now
know,
there
like-
kind of are
Right.
with doctors and whatever, but
But like on restaurants where it's like the
Yeah.
A, B, C,
he has
God,
he has an
pending
F rating.
Yeah.
He's the worst. He's a monster. So Oliver used Jenny's inheritance money to open his practice, and they also opened a saloon, and Jenny got wrapped up in drugs and alcohol herself because of him. The volatile couple were fined multiple times for sex work being illegally conducted out of the saloon, and Oliver was eventually arrested for disorderly conduct. Jenny died of an overdose. His girlfriend, or no, wife, they got married, I guess, or no, girlfriend. She just had an inheritance.
Fake wife.
Yeah, one of his lavas. She died of an overdose while he was in jail on this disorderly conduct arrest.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Leaving destruction everywhere he went, he left Lima, and after his release from jail, he tried and failed to open a few more practices in a few more towns, and eventually made his way back to Dayton with his tail between his legs, where his still legal wife, Anna, and their 2 children told him to fuck right off and wouldn't let him into the house.
Good.
Girl.
Thank God.
I know.
I was
So he
getting
moved.
nervous.
I know. She makes it.
Okay.
And the kids make it. So he moved back in with his parents. This time she successfully filed for divorce and was finally free of him. His parents, disgraced by their son's behavior, cut him out of their will, which prompted him to threaten their lives if they didn't write him back in, and he was not fucking around. In the middle of the night on November 5th, 1905, the family house was lit ablaze. Oliver, conveniently unscathed, like untouched, ran for help, but his addled state gave conflicting reports to multiple authorities about what had happened.
Gosh, I wonder why.
I know. He claimed that he'd awakened to smoke in his room, a room that he was sharing with his brother, and
Didn't wake him up.
that he was able to get out, but his brother and parents had been trapped inside. An investigation would reveal that Oliver had ordered a fuck ton of accelerant known as oil pre-fire, which I think is like paraffin or like whatever, which could be seen trailed through the burning house. So he'd obviously...
You know you're bad at arson when they fucking know it's arson in 1905.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like they walked up and the whole house wasn't completely burned down yet. So it's like, oh, I can see that you poured whatever on this like patch of remaining floor, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, arson is super fucking hard to get away with today.
It is.
There-
There's
I don't know
arson
how
investigation
they
is
do
amazing.
it. It's
they
amazing.
fucking find
it's
the...
amazing. But like
the
in
patterns
1905,
and-
it could not have been that hard to get away with if you weren't
Right.
a total fucking moron like this
like
guy.
this asshole.
Yeah.
He also ordered, with the use of his medical credentials, a whole bunch of hyoscine hydrobromide, which is a medication prescribed for motion sickness. So, like, it's common and legitimate,
Oh no.
but the effects of overdose are severe, causing drowsiness, heart arrhythmia, and tachycardia, hallucinations, abnormal breathing, and fucking paralysis.
Okay.
so
there we go.
he dosed all of them so they couldn't get up, and then he fucking...
Lit the house on fire and left.
So you didn't even need to use an accelerant.
He sure didn't, but he's an asshole. Despite the inability to gather toxicology evidence or even much evidence from the severely burned bodies, the order of these supplies and his spotty recollection of the night in question, as well as like the first responders, like the volunteer fire people that showed up at the house were like, we can see this fucking stuff poured on the floor of the house. Like, this was all enough for him to be arrested for the murders of his parents and brother. He got away with, quote, unintentional murder for years with botched procedures and overdoses of his patients, as well as the deaths of 4 of his 9 wives
Oh my
from
God.
suspected hyoscine hydrobromide injections to the spine.
Oh!
But the clearly premeditated murder of his family was what finally did him in. He was found guilty for those 3 murders, though he has upwards of 13 victims with the exact total unknown.
How did we not know about this guy? I mean, he
I
is
know.
literally like
He's a serial
as-
killer.
serial killer.
as intense as H.H. Holmes.
Oh, yeah. After a 10-day long trial, he was sentenced to death, and on April 19th, 1907, Oliver Crook Howe died via electric chair. Before his sentencing, he stated in court, quote, "They say that I murdered my father, my mother, and brother with hyoscine for the sake of the money. They say that when I have taken enough of the hyoscine, the man within me disappears." So whatever drug he was developing was a cocktail
Mixture
of
of
this hyoscine shit. So he was like microdosing himself with it, which I'm sure it causes fucking hallucinations. Like the dude was just in a mania that he induced and maintained
From
for
a lot of different
years
drugs.
from
Yeah.
all the drugs.
Jesus.
It's so fucking wild. Anyway, they say that when I've taken enough hyoscine, the man within me disappears, and hide is the power. It seems as though I must do something, destroy something. My only recourse is to get out into the street, out into the open country, away from men and women, lest I murder them.
Hold on, pause.
He's all
This
over the
is-
place.
This is him talking in court, and he starts. The first sentence is like, "They say that I killed my family. They say that I let the drug take over and the power, and I became Hyde, and I must." And he like clearly, it's like Dracula Dead and Loving It, where like the assistant like starts to like
Yeah.
use it
Right. Oh, yeah.
in court.
In court. This was like, I mean, I think he'd already been convicted, so maybe this was like, you get to make a
Whatever.
statement at sentencing.
But
But-
still,
He's
the
unraveling
statement doesn't make any
quick.
sense.
No, he's a Looney Tune. It's amazing. He's insane. Like, and his defense tried to defend him on an insanity plea, but he was assessed by the state, and they deemed him sane to stand trial. So they were like, deal with it. He's sane now. He was sane when he did all of this stuff.
All right, sorry, but it was just like
No,
the
it's
unraveling was a
bonkers.
lot to
I get
cope
it.
with.
I get it. Away from men and women, lest I murder them. It is possible for me to have murdered these people and know nothing of it. All that I do know is that if I die for these crimes, I shall at least have established the proof of the theory on which I have always insisted, that 2 beings, one of good, the other of evil, may exist in the same man, and in that respect, at least I shall have rendered a distinct service to posterity.
No, dude, you were just on drugs.
Yep, you were blasted out of your mind and just killed a bunch of people, mostly women.
Yeah, and you're pretty much only the asshole side. You don't
Uh-huh.
really have the good side.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, in a very spooky detail from a super old newspaper, during the early part of the night that he was to be executed, a break in the machinery at the Columbus Public Service plant threw the big prison into temporary darkness. The break did not interfere with the electrocution in any way. However, as the current for that purpose is supplied by the prison dynamo.
Oh, imagine being the prisoner and you're like, the power went out. They can't kill me. And they're like, don't worry, we've got a generator.
Yeah.
No.
Bye-bye.
You're fine.
So how does this circle back to the invention of the airplane? Well, some historians theorize that had Oliver not clocked Wilbur right in the head and altered his original path of education at Yale and pursuing athletics, he may have never changed trajectories into the study of aviation, and we would not have airplanes as we know them today.
Well, sometimes there is a weird butterfly effect
Yeah.
of an asshole being an asshole.
Yo, for real. It's
That's
bonkers.
really, I like that story. I mean, it's
Isn't it
awful, obviously,
wild?
but how it ties in with the history of aviation
What do
as
you
we
think?
know
So
it.
wild.
When I say aviation.
Aviation.
Flaming Zeppelin. Amelia
Amelia
Earhart. Unsolved
Well, if you
disappearance.
said the Wright brothers, you'd be correct. I couldn't have written that better. That was fucking perfect. Anyway, that's my case. Thank you for that fan suggestion because holy shit, that was a wild ride. It was so interesting to research.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Don Michelle.
You are
And
wunderbar.
everybody go listen to Historically Accurate
Accurate.
Pod.
Yeah.
It's
Love it.
fun. It's a good,
Yeah.
it's a fun trip.
Phenomenal.
All right.
Okay.
Keep
we
up
will
the good work.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support and get a shout out on air, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers!